afternoon adventure. Streaming live with Yorkie, where the fun never falters. A Yorkshire tide wilts under the New Mexico sun, as he shares the warmth with the story begun.
Under golden skies, the tales take flight. Yorkie's ready with a sparkle in his eyes. Fantasy, sci-fi, or a modern twist, each tale's a treasure, none to be missed. From rolling hills to haunted towns, epic quests where legends abound. Heroes rise or stumble and fall, but Yorkie's here to see it all. With each new game, a door swings wide. Step through with Yorkie as your guide. Join Yorkie's afternoon adventures, where stories grow and danger fades. Laughs and thrills at every turn, an adventure where we'll all return. Point-and-click tales where puzzles unfold, episodic journeys with stories bold. Visual novels rich with choice, F&B scenes where actors voice. Role-playing quests where fates entwine, strategy games with plots that shine. Narrative games where the plot runs deep. In Yorkie's stream, the stories leap. No matter the genre, the tale's the key. In Yorkie's world, it's all about the story. Join Yorkie's afternoon adventures, where stories grow and danger fades. Laughs and thrills at every turn, an adventure where we'll all return.
Yorkie's afternoon adventures, where stories grow and danger fade.
Laughs and thrills at every turn, an adventure where we'll all return. Pulling when lost to mysteries grand, to moral choices that guide your hand. Political intrigue or personal strife, the games explore the depths of life. From epic battles to a quiet chat, these stories cover all of that. In Yorkie's stream, the topics range, each adventure brings something strange. With every theme, new doors ignite. In Yorkie's world, the tales take flight. Join Yorkie's afternoon adventures, where stories grow and danger fades. Laughs and thrills at every turn, an adventure where we'll all return. As each tale ends, a vote takes place on his YouTube community page. The viewers decide what's next in line for the tales we'll share in this grand design. From epic quests to quiet nights, we'll find new ways to reach new heights. Yorkie's here, so don't delay. Another adventure's on its way. With every vote, a new game begins. In Yorkie's world, adventure wins. Join Yorkie's afternoon adventures, where stories grow and danger fades. Laughs and thrills at every turn, an adventure where we'll all return. Through every turn, there's so much more we've yet to learn. In every choice, in every path, there's magic found in every laugh. The stories weave, the moments blend. With Yorkie here, the fun won't end. The journey's long, the road's not straight, but side by side we'll celebrate. With every game, new bonds are made. Characters live where memories fade. Journeys shared, both near and far. These tales connect us like a guiding star. In every choice, in every play, new paths are forged along the way. So join us now, The time is near for another adventure full of cheer. In Yorkie's hands, the stories shine. Adventure waits for all in line. Join Yorkie's afternoon adventures, where stories grow and danger fades. Laughs and thrills at every turn, an adventure where we'll all return. So join us again, don't miss a beat. Yorkie's channel is the place to meet. With stories fresh and games so bright, we'll chase the day into the night.
Gather round, brave souls, and hear the tale of the Lindra moon song, a hero through and through. Welcome to her journey, in the light and in the shade, in wrath of the righteous, where the winds of freedom play. The world wand opens and demons rise. Darkness spreads through crimson skies. In the chaos, hope is hard to find, but the Lindra stands with it, an unyielding mind. Through fire and chains, she'll make her way, to push back the night, to bring the day. She's a beacon in the night, guided by the stars' light. With bow in hand, she'll stand her ground. Her courage fierce, her aim profound. In every shot, the darkness fades. Calindra's courage never afraid. The Lindra roams where the wild winds call, a child of twilight where shadows fall. The open road has been her guide, with Desna's dreams always by her side. But now she's drawn to a greater fight, to defend the world from the endless night. For freedom's call, she'll always fight, her spirit soaring to the height. With bow in hand, she'll stand her ground. Her courage fierce, her aim profound. In every shot, the darkness fades. Calindra's courage never fades. In Keonan's woods, her skill took flight, harnessing earth and the winds of night. Her arrows strike with nature's grace, a storm within no foe can face. With every shot, she holds the line, her spirit strong, her aim divine. Her power flows from earth and sky. She strikes where shadows die. With bow in hand, she'll stand her ground. Her courage fierce, her aim profound. In every shot, the darkness fades. Calindra's courage never fades. Even the lone need a helping hand. Allies gather, together they stand. Sealer's shield, ember's gentle light, lend steady aim in the endless fight. With friends beside her, she faces the tide. In their unity, the darkness is denied. With allies strong, her strength ignites. Together, they turn the tides. With bow in hand, she'll stand her ground. Her courage fierce, her aim profound. In every shot, the darkness fades. Calendra's courage never fades. Oh, Yorkie, can you guide her through? In the paths of chaos, where the winds blew, will you lead her true as the battles rage, or lose her in the abyssal stage? Her eyes now turn to the mythic call, the Azata's light, to rise or fall. She'll chase her fate through fire and sky. With Desna's blessing, she'll learn to fly. Her journey long, but she won't back down. She'll wear the stars like a hero's crown. Her fate entwined with stars above, she'll rise on wings of love. With bow in hand, she'll stand her ground. Her courage fierce, her aim profound. In every shot, the darkness fades. Calendra's courage never afraid. Oh, Yorkie, can you guide her through? In the paths of chaos, where the winds blow, will you lead her true as the battles rage, or lose her in the abyssal stage? Her eyes now turn to the mythic call, the Azata's light, to rise or fall. She'll chase her fate through fire and sky. With Desna's blessing, she'll learn to fly. So journey long back down as her story flows, through battles fought and the winds that blow. Yorkie's afternoon adventures, don't miss a beat, for Thalindra's tale is far from complete. Come back soon, for the journey's long, and see where the winds will take Moonsong. Her story's just begun, there's more to see. In the light of the stars, where she'll always be free.
Alright there, it's your old mate Yorkie here. Welcome you back to Afternoon Adventures. Cheers! For that more relaxed, less shootery, less action driven narrative kind of game. Like now, with the CRPG Wrath of the Righteous. Well, we beat the hell out of the demons in Kenabres. We're ready to begin the Crusade main, but first, we need to head there, don't we? I leveled up off channel. I mythicked up off channel, so we're all ready. Just to, I suppose I can let you see the mythic path we've got. Freedom's Child, which, oh, it's the first level, isn't it? Ascendant Element Electricity is what we took, because though we can't get it until level 7, I believe it is, we're at 6 at the moment, we should be 7 relatively soon. I'm going to combine, per ChatGPT suggestion, air with electricity to make storm bolts. Instrument of Freedom, which lets me unleash bolts or power up my allies. And Epic Bypass Damage Reduction. So, there you go. Sealer, for her mythic. Mythical Beast to empower a horse. And Epic Bypass Damage Reduction. We all get that, of course. Abundant Casting for Camellia. Mythical beast for land for his wolf, Luna. Ascendant element fire since she's a firecaster. Master shapeshifter Ulbrich so he can stay in griffin form. And there you go. Right, out we go.
Make way. Warrior Queen coming through with a round for the heroes. Whoa, the heart is packed. And you considered mixing this little shindig, Beth?
Whenever you reaches the long table your party is gathered around, she heavily flops onto the bench and hands out tankards of beer. Just checked that I had my sounds on.
And I am still considering it. It hasn't even been a week since the last demon was booted out of Kenabres. And we really should be in a period of mourning for all the city's fallen. But the people deserve to celebrate, and she deserves to be honored for saving the city and possibly all of Mendev.
We did it together, guys and gals.
More than the rest of us. Don't deny your
I'm not,
achievements.
but we all work together.
There will always be plenty of miserable folk only too happy to tear you down.
Screw them.
According to the Watch reports, there has been no demon activity whatsoever outside
Beautiful.
Kenabres. I get the feeling the Fiends are as shocked by what happened as we are. What happened in the garrison, what you did, it was a miracle. I truly believe that the gods remembered us and decided to intervene.
Elizabeth rubs her forehead pensively.
Beth, come on, you agreed. No serious business.
Yeah, let's
today.
kick back and drink. Here's to y'all.
All right, I'm done. No more. Who would have thought we'd be celebrating a successful attack on the Grey Garrison, our own fortress, and that we'd blow the roof off the place?
And now we're raising the roof here.
It's simply unforgivable.
Comes the cheerful voice of someone sitting at the far corner of the table.
While we're on the topic of the roof, there's already a rumor going around that you have been blessed by Iomade herself.
Oh yeah?
And it was her power granted to you that destroyed the garrison's walls and roof. And it turns out the people want a little piece of that blessing for themselves.
Ooh.
The townsfolk are gathering chunks of the garrison's rubble as souvenirs and talismans. And I'm sure they'll hit the black market soon enough. Oh, yeah. Here, read on this for me.
Sure.
Nice. I'll put it on display at home. Or maybe I'll make a hole in it and wear it as a pendant.
There you go.
Nevi! What are you on about now?
Elizabeth mutters.
What do you mean? Do you see many people at this table who've been personally blessed by Iomade herself?
I prefer to think it's Desna. She's my goddess. Maybe she persuaded Iomade to do it.
Perhaps.
She has the same mirthful voice that joined him before.
Iomade's blessings are not conveyed through stones, and as public officials, we really shouldn't.
Elizabeth looks to the end of the table where the voice originated, and her eyes widen as her words trail off.
I feel a little chastened after what you said about public officials. But I myself have acquired a few pieces of stone, and also wish to ask our heroine to breathe on them for good luck. So,
I suppose I can
what
do.
now? Are you going to toss me out of this fine establishment?
I mean, you're a bit stuffy for my liking, Galfrey, but all the same. The woman dressed in unshowy finery. How can it be unshowy and finery? Raises her eyebrows.
Your Majesty. Yes, it is I. I made the journey here to deduct the cost of repairing the garrison roof from your salary. We have not been introduced. Galfrey of Mendev.
The woman raises from her seat, approaches you and holds out her hand. The Queen's graced us with her
As
presence.
you can see, yes, I am here.
The Queen notices your act of disrespect but passes no comment, only quirking a brow and giving the tiniest of smiles.
Your Majesty, we were just... I'll have them arrange. Calm yourself, Commander. I deliberately came here without any fanfare because I did not wish to draw attention away from our honored heroine here. My personal guard and the force I brought with me are standing watch outside the city.
I ordered all of your sentries to stand down. They also deserve a break. Every person who tirelessly fought to save Kenabres will enjoy themselves today. And my reinforcements will ensure peace and order.
We're here celebrating all the demons might be planning their next campaign. We really need to get a move on.
Oh, I do not doubt that, even for a moment. But we will not give them another chance to catch us off our guard. It is time to turn back the tide.
Well, you might be a stuffy old broad, but at least we're on the same side.
Your Majesty, my dear cousin.
Count, I admit I was surprised to learn that you valiantly joined the ranks of the city's defenders. Pleasantly surprised.
Well, yeah, but we've left him behind.
I live to please you, my queen. My first thought when Daskari cruelly robbed us of noble Tarandalev and half of Kenabres' crusaders in one fell swoop was of you, my queen, and of how these events would weigh heavily on you. No one could have foreseen the demon attack, and we have so successfully held the defense here for 4 heroic crusades.
I'm going to drown him in the nearest well this very night.
Kenabres?
I value your dedication and your eloquence. I hope you will continue to aid our soldiers.
The Queen gives him a genuine smile. You know, Darren, I think you're right. I did hear some commoner named Bill Wirtz, I believe, say there were many crusades. Some of them almost didn't fail.
Not a chance. You know that I am not made for the front lines. Excellent bash, but alas, I really must go. Important matters to be getting on with. A new shipment of wine from Kionin, and 3 beautiful creatures of the same provenance.
Yeah, well, you can book it off. It's
I will
fine.
most assuredly come to say my farewells before your army departs on its campaign, which, wherever it may lead you, will undoubtedly be crowned with victory.
If you want to go, you can
I shall
go.
hold you to that, Count. And now, allow me to devote some time to the heroine of the evening. I did not come here solely to give you the chance to celebrate. But all serious discussions and official announcements can wait until tomorrow. I have big, big plans for all of you. Especially for you. But I want to keep you in suspense for a little while longer. So I shan't say another word. Let us mark this victory. My first toast is to you, the heroine of Kenabres.
Sometimes against a lot. Okay, I'm not going to read that.
The fires of Kenabres have died down. Now the army's path leads to the walls of Dresden, a fallen citadel that the Crusaders have been trying in vain to reclaim for 70 years. The new piece on the board might give their efforts some added momentum.
Is that her next to Beth, the hero who saved Kenabres? The Queen is coming! The Queen! Oh, stop it.
Rise, warriors. Today is a day of sorrow and pride.
No time for this kowtowing.
Sorrow because we weep for our brothers and
Bending the
sisters
knee.
who perished in Kenabres.
Just because of a fluke of
Pride
birth.
because despite demonic treachery, our heroes repelled the attack and saved the city. I, Queen Galfrey of Mendev, declare this day the first day of the 5th Crusade. And I am glad to introduce the one who will lead the attack on the forces of the Abyss. The hero of Kenabres, Knight Commander of the 5th Crusade. Your leader from now unto victory or death.
I just got knighted.
And now...
I'm usually told to get knotted.
Everyone is dismissed.
Which sounds a lot better if you're not reading Omniverse like,
The
a
troop
Megaverse
is
like my
finished.
wife.
I'll give you some time to look around the camp, and then I shall expect your presence at headquarters.
Alright, well let's have a check around the camp, shall we? Commander, please allow me to join you while you inspect our encampment, sorry. Alright, we got the storyteller here. Yeah, I've got some notes for you. The old elf smiles when he hears your footsteps. Allow me to congratulate you on your victory and on acquiring mythical powers capable of casting down the strongest of demons. I got this page for you. The storyteller carefully takes a page from your hand. His fingers touch the ancient letters gently, examining them lightly, following the lines. I see myself, young, energetic, able to see. Oh gods, have I found the key to my past? Finally, I'll be able to find out what my own mind has been hiding from me. The elf's expression becomes withdrawn. The wrinkles on his face soften. Thank you, Thalindra Moonsong, and please, follow me to my story. Let us embark on this journey together. The storyteller inhales sharply a few times and begins his story. They are leaving. The people of Keonin faced the oncoming earthfall and admitted that they were incapable of handling this disaster. Proud rulers, artful crafters, brave warriors, wise mages, and skilled healers, all of them hurried to the gate of Soverian, looking fearful. A clean, safe world is waiting for them there. My people decided not to fight for Galarian. I'm ashamed, and I am sorry for them. Their hearts wavered in the face of catastrophe. But my will is strong. I am staying. My kinfolk are looking at me angrily. How dare I diminish their decision with my recklessness? My choice makes them cowards, traitors of their own home. One of them, my former mentor, looks at me bitterly. He hands me a neat notebook with a tree bark cover. In case you change your mind, with a heavy sigh, he returns to the line of those departing. Forgive me, brothers and sisters. I watch the gate of Soverian stone close, separating me from them. It's time for me to go too. I open my master's notebook. These are his notes about travelling between worlds, in case you change your mind. He hopes the burden I shouldered, voluntarily, will be too much. I will lose heart and find my way to Soverian. That will never happen. My mouth set stubbornly. I tear my master's notebooks to pieces. I use my forced pride as a shield against my fear of what is to come. Why did the elves decide not to fight? Storyteller's lips purse with disdain. They are afraid to lose what they have. They were rulers, long-lived and powerful. They valued their lives and sunshine too much to enter the fight with the aftermath of the earthfall. Your mentor is a mage, and you must be too. Yes, I am an archmage, and this title is well deserved. I have acquired delicate mastery and succeeded in many areas of magic. But curiosity has always pushed me towards new knowledge since the first day of my apprenticeship. What is the Soverian stone? A magnificent crystal bent into an arch by a mighty hand of an ancient divine creator. A great gate with the world. It breathes power, it dreams of eternity. Why are you angry at your fellow elves? I spent many hundreds of years in Keonin. I have always admired the way my kinfolk cared for the forest that was their home, but the rest of the world seemed to mean nothing to them. But I love Galarian, and its places, all the forms it manifests in. I travelled widely, and then came home and told my kinfolk about my travels, but they weren't interested. They only cared about Keonin. Their lack of desire to hear about the wider world makes me sad and angry. So what happened next, storyteller? Earthfall happened at night. I am standing at the top of my tower many miles to the north of Keonin, and I see a blaze far in the south. I hear a horrendous rumble. The air is groaning, giving way to a huge rock rushing down on my world, and then a blow. Vibration that penetrates everything, reaching down into the bowels of Galarian and up to the vaults of the sky. Crunching bones, blood from burst vessels filling my eyes with darkness, drowning in timelessness along with countless denizens of Galarian. Never before have we been so united in our feelings. When I come around, the darkness remains. My first terrible thought, I'm blind. But no, little by little I begin to see the stone wall. I am alive. But why is it so dark? The answer is quick. The smell of ash everywhere. The great burnt sacrifice filled the air with incinerated particles of what was recently the continent of Aslant. Great clouds of ash covered the sky, cutting us off from the sun and the moon, dooming us to dusk at day and complete darkness at night. My heart sinks with fear. Treacherous thoughts fill my mind. Why did I stay? Why didn't I run like everyone else when I had a chance? I clench my teeth and stand up to watch Earthfall, proudly, like the last Archmage of Keonin should. Will my world really perish like this? Will I perish? No, that will never happen. I am still alive and I can fight Earthfall and the darkness. Not run from it in a blind panic like my kinfolk and my cowardly teacher. But what can I do? I will not stop the disaster. I will hardly be able to save the empires from their destruction. What can I do? I am but one archmage, powerful and weak at the same time. What is Earthfall? A disaster of untold proportions. An unborn planet dropped on Galarian by blind fate or the evil will of someone. A blow so strong that the continent of Aslan is destroyed. Within moments, turned to ashes, wiped off the face of Galarian. In this burnt sacrifice, clouds of ash and dust are born, stealing our sun. Without the warmth of our star, the air cools, the soil is barren, the dark creatures crawl out of their lairs to rule. And the most frightening thing, without the sun, all hope dies in the heart. This is the age of darkness. What was that tower you mentioned? It's my retreat to the north of Keonin, my home away from home, my observatory. From its top, I watch the stars, and when they were correctly aligned, other worlds as well. Here in the northern wastelands, I found the highest mountain and built a tower atop it. On clear days, I could see the mist over the lake of mists and veils in the east. That's how high I was. What are you going to do next? I don't know. I need to think. My opponent, Earthfall, is much stronger than me. Without noticing, the storyteller raises his voice to a shout. It is merciless! It does not simply destroy life, it kills an era, ending the greatness of Galarian civilizations. They will sink into oblivion and be forgotten, as if they never existed. I need to think! The elf suddenly winces and he's silent for a few moments, as he calms his heavy breathing. Forgive me, I shouldn't have raised my voice. This story was much harder than many before it, most likely because I played the main role. It is so strange to see myself feel the emotions tearing me up inside. Those that I felt a long time ago, and not remember them. It's like I split. I became both the storyteller and the main character. Too bad the story ended at that moment. Please, if you find other pages with ancient elven writings on your travels, please bring them to me. I might be able to shed some light on my past, and we will find out how my story ended, and perhaps even why I forgot it. Thank you for your stories. He's already told me about Earthfall. I want to discuss your past with you. Nope, we've done that. Have you decided to join the Crusade? I have decided not to, I'm afraid. My path and the path of the Crusade led in the same direction, but alas, they are not yet one and the same. After the demons were driven away from Kenabres, the path into the Whirlwind became open, if only temporarily. I'm planning on using this opportunity to visit. The elf falls silent. It doesn't matter now. I'd hate to bore you with the details of my venture, which may prove useless even for myself. However, I'll try to return to the Crusaders and aid them in their confrontation with the demons after I'm done. I hope to meet you again in this world rather than the next. The storyteller fiddles with a fragment of gold I had. An odd old thing, created long ago by divine will. But the power that gave birth to it is lost in the darkness. However, the relic still lives on, though it has changed. I wonder what secret it is hiding. Would you like to know it? Bring me 5 vials of magic essence and I will revive this object. And with it, the story. We have those magic essences. Please restore it. The elf uncorks the vials and begins work with his enchantments. The essence evaporates, turning into light that streams into the buckle. The light thickens, becoming gold. The Covenant of the Inheritor, that is the name of this relic. This buckle once adorned the belt of a glorious knight from Mendev. It is the embodiment of a promise made to a young girl by a powerful deity. A promise that had changed much in the world. When you touch a restored relic, a strange vision comes to you. It's as if you can see the events that happened to it in the past. A burning sensation spreads across your chest from the very spot where your mysterious wound sometimes opens. What is this? The influence of the storyteller's spells? Or is it something else? I had a vision. The old elf frowns. How strange. You're a remarkable mortal. No one has ever shared my visions before. What do you think caused it? Perhaps these things have something to do with your destiny, or the fate of someone related to you. I do not have an answer, only advice. Seek out such relics, look for what links them all, and you will find the truth. We know about the knife, it was a demon, probably Discari. We have more important things to do now. More about you. I've already had most of that, I think. I have to go. Right, so... I think that means we've got a new thing. That one's irrelevant to any of us here. Natural armor +2. Front runner should have that. I think you should have it actually. Oh. Swarmbane clasp. An ancient fossilized insect lies within this ornate amber clasp, impaled by the long golden pin that fastens the wearer's cloak. The wearer's weapons, armed attacks, or unarmed attacks, and natural attacks deal full damage to swarms. Saving throw. Okay. That's decent then. Dex +2. Given you're going to be wearing light armor at most, I think that could be useful. What are you wearing though? Just strength is more useful. Alright, Lan, you can have that. You can have that. No. Sealer? Samuel grants wear a +2 competence on persuasion. That should go to Ember, not you. You don't need that though. You need that. You can have that. Ember. You can have that. Where's the thing that the storyteller just gave us? Ah. Covenant of the Inheritor. Symbol of Iomedae, when placed on the belt, emits a holy aura. All party members in a 30-foot area get +2 bonus to caster level checks made to overcome spell resistance. Okay, I'll take that, because I'll be standing back with the casters. Does it do anything else? Weapon becomes good aligned and count as if they were made of cold iron. Yeah, I think that's really good. I'll take that. Okay. Piece of weapon and stuff, I can always sell them, can't I?
So exciting!
I'm sure we've got spares here, I'm sure that's what we're looking at, because everyone seems to be armed. And more. So we had a quick glance around. Apparently we were being talked to by Kenabres. August is here. Waljiff, Journo. The burly soldier with an impressive beard greets you with a broad smile. Wilson Garms, camp quartermaster at your service. May I be of help? Tell me about yourself, Wilson. The quartermaster looks away sheepishly. There ain't much to tell, really. I was born in Kenabres in a humble family. I got an education, taught myself to read and write, got drafted into the army. Spent 3 years as a shield bearer in the first line. I left after I did my time and joined the Stonemasons Guild. Then moved up to the shipwrights and rose towards crew chief. Sailed to Ayaboria twice and returned with goods. Made some money, built a house, but haven't started a family yet. I think I will after we're done with this war. But a few years ago, something started gnawing at me. I got the feeling like I needed to go home, but there was a storm headed for my native city. And when there's trouble in Mendev, there's only one thing to do. You go to a recruiter and sign up for the army. And so I did. First they wanted to make me an infantry sergeant. But then they decided I'd be a better fit in the supply department. I can take care of army property, and I'm pretty handy around the warehouse. Not to mention I know how to manage a band of helpers. And that's how I became a quartermaster. Wilson gives you a shy smile and shrugs, as if this were a wholly unremarkable story typical of any crusader. What are your duties in the camp? A little bit of everything. What's an officer to a soldier? A strict father. So what does that make his quartermaster like myself? Something like the mum, that's what. I make sure the lads have everything they need to defeat the enemy and come back from battle in one piece. Wilson starts ticking off on his fingers. That means food, firewood, medicine, tents, mended clothes, fixed weapons. The horse has got to be fed and watered, the camp's got to be fortified by evening and broken up by morning. I make sure the wages are paid on time and the wagon wheels don't squeak. And then there's reports. God, until you asked, I never realised how many duties I actually had. What do the soldiers think of their new commander? Mostly tell tales about your unusual powers. But they don't shy away from talking about you as a person too. Soldiers are always like that. If Iomedae herself descended from heaven, you bet they jabber on about how she grips a sword and how good she looks in her armour. Word is that when you were a little kid, your babysitter was a Nefrit, or maybe a Shaitan, or some other exotic lady from another plane, and that she taught you some tricks no priest or mage can do. Gotta love those rumours, Wilson. Show me what you have me. Don't need that. Sort by name. Don't need that or that. What's that? No one's using a falchion. We don't need them. I don't think anyone's going to use a scythe. Maybe a halberd. I think I know someone who might use that. Nope, not using a flail. Not using a hammer right now. I don't think we're going to. The malady, no. And I do know one place that might go, so I'm going to hold on to that. Alright. I'm a class 4. So I don't think we need to do that. I'm not gonna. Nothing there. I think I hold off on this stuff. Although... No, he's using his own amulet, isn't he? Could go on one of the pets. Nah, we hold off. Right, visit Journo. Make it to Dresden. And then go speak to the Queen. Well, not and then, as in that's the sequence, but that's the other thing on the list, is what I mean. The Queen greets you with a cold stare. She has dropped the pompous air which she just announced the 5th Crusade. The face of the ruler of Mendev appears calm and thoughtful. She has made a move and now awaits her opponent's reply.
Commander, I'm satisfied with the troop review, but I do not expect they will be sufficient for the task. You will have to prove yourself a shrewd leader and hire the necessary troops with the provided funds. I have chosen a target for your campaign, and that target is Dresden,
Of course.
our lost outpost within the World Wound. The Sword of Valor was kept there, a banner that was once carried by Iomedae herself. Our greatest relic was lost when the city fell. I should make one thing clear from the start. The Sword of Valor is no mere symbol, but a powerful weapon against demons. The holiness of the banner weakens them and robs them of one of their most dangerous abilities, teleportation. A forced march to Dresden awaits you.
Of course.
The Sword of Valor is kept somewhere within the Citadel. The demons probably think it's a hunting trophy. Its recovery is just as important as retaking the city itself. I hope the task is clear.
Yes.
I'm sending 2 specialists to help you, along with the soldiers. A historian, Nura Denduar, and a cleric, Social Dainik.
Okay, I can see the point of Social.
One of the famous inquisitors of the Church of Iomedae also wants to talk to you. The Honorable Leota, whom everyone calls Hawkblade.
Not too fond of the Inquisitors myself.
I do not wish to keep you, Commander.
Oh, you
The
won't?
matter I must discuss with you is extremely important, but it is not directly related to the Crusade. You no doubt wish to meet your new comrades and speak with Her Majesty. Therefore, I shall leave you now, but I ask that you seek me out in the camp at your earliest convenience.
I do seem a little more refined than that idiot that I met in the city.
Hi! Listen, it's amazing here. It's like I'm in a ballad. There's knights in shining armor, deadly dangers, glorious feats. We are going to show those demons. I'm so tired of sitting in a library reading books about history. It's time I took part in it.
What exactly do you think you're going to do?
I'm glad to help our cause, Commander. If you have some time later, I'd like to speak with you further.
Sure, I can do that.
You'll have plenty of time to talk. You're the Knight Commander's people now, her trusted advisors and companions. Now then, will you please leave us? Irabeth, you can go too.
I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say the trusted companions yet. I mean, it's just been forced on me. When we met at the Defender's Heart, I imagined you'd make me the... I never imagined you'd make me the commander of the new Crusade. I'm not into armies and stuff.
Some actions may be deemed bold, or even extreme. And beyond those, there are some you might call the Queen's last resort. I am not a simple monarch. I am at war with the Abyss, a war which has lasted over 100 years. I cannot allow myself the luxury of caution. In you, I see a chance, and I am willing to stake everything on it.
Every sensible person at war with the Abyss, that doesn't make you special.
However, you cannot blame me for putting you in charge of the Crusade. I only formalized what had already happened in the hearts and minds of many. People spoke of the power that descended upon you and helped you save the Wardstones from corruption and total destruction. Word of this feat quickly spread far beyond the borders of Mendev. There was no other person who could better fit the role of Knight Commander of the 5th Crusade.
Some questions about my mission to retake Dresden.
Of course. I shall answer.
Well, we know how they conquered it. What forces are at my disposal?
Everyone we saw today at the parade. First among them, the Eagle Watch, who remain a powerful force thanks to Irabeth's resourcefulness. Also marching with you are several minor knightly orders,
Yeah, I
as
saw
the
them.
minor volunteer units like to be called. And finally, I have personally selected some recruits from Neurosian. They have little in the way of battle experience, but great determination and a thirst to prove themselves. I've always thought that an army benefits from at least one such unit.
How? Well, I suppose they're willing to do things others might not be.
These forces, as I said, are not enough for a march on Dresden. You will have to hire additional troops with the funds that have been provided to you. But for a brave commander, and I hope you are one, that is just the beginning. If you retake Dresden, recover the holy power of the Sword of Valor, and gain a foothold in the region, then new armies will join under your banner. The Fifth Crusade is only beginning. Many battles and victories lie ahead.
It's been decades and no one has managed to retake the city. Why do you think we're different? I mean, I've got ideas, but what's your idea?
We have a chance now that we haven't seen in decades. But it's more than that. You created this chance for us by foiling the demon's plans in Kenabres. The army who attacked the city came straight from Dresden. Demon hordes from the Abyss are usually encamped there, but many of them perished on the streets of Kenabres.
Yep.
We must attack swiftly before they can restore their forces. When the city is free and the Sword of Valor appears before our soldiers, they won't be sending in any more reinforcements. Demons cannot teleport into an area protected by the banner of the goddess.
What about long-term goals? Do you know how to get rid of the World Wound forever?
Now you are talking like a real knight commander.
Or just someone who wants rid of this stuff?
Answering your question is not easy. To win this war, we must bar the demon's way. There are a few planar rifts leading to the Abyss across the territory we call the World Wound. The best specialists we could find have tried to close them on separate occasions, with no success, as you may have guessed.
Yeah, I noticed.
The World Wound is more than just a chain of portals to the Abyss. We do not understand its nature yet. The methods of rift closure known to magical science simply do not work here. However, we have a hypothesis, and a rather well-grounded one, that we must begin at the source of the problem, the place where the World Wound was opened. The main rift lies through the city of Iz, and the Threshold Fortress, deep in the former lands of Socorus. We have never managed to fight our way so far and gain a foothold to allow the mages to explore the origins of the World Wound. So, the next step, after you succeed in Dresden, is an offensive push deeper into the World Wound, with the aim of reaching Threshold. The very threshold of the Abyss.
I guess it all depends what the city of is, doesn't it? Alright then. Well, we already know that was Staunton, but see if you've got any other news.
That's a good question. Its walls were built by dwarf craftsmen, and the power of the Sword of Valor protected the city. Alas, where raging hordes failed, a single lying tongue was all they needed to succeed. The demoness Minago convinced a young and ambitious crusader named Staunton Vane
he's an idiot.
that the banner belonged on the battlefield. He went on a daring and unapproved raid, and the banner ended up in the enemy's hands. The city fell soon after.
It's a treacherous idiot.
Ever since then, for 7 decades, it has served as a citadel for the forces of the Abyss.
Yeah, I saw him at the Great Garrison. He's defected to the demon's side.
Oh, really? I wasn't informed of this.
Well, you have been now.
After Dresden fell because of Staunton, he was nearly sentenced to death. He deserved it.
Yeah.
In wartime, men are hanged for far less. But you have no idea what a terrible sight it is. A raging crowd of crusaders baying for blood. Never have my fighters looked so much like the demons we are fighting. I commuted Staunton's sentence and stripped him of his rank. Not just for him, but for my army and my country. We are not Hell Knights. We do not maintain discipline with public executions.
Yeah, well, I decided to give him another chance too, and then he screwed it up, so it's a tough choice, I understand.
Thank you for your support. The longer you live, the more things you do, and the more criticism you endure. Today, many blame me for all manner of reasons, and few try to understand my actions. Your words warm my soul.
No more questions.
Wonderful.
Hey, did you know that the souls of angels from heaven are confined in the Wardstone?
I had guessed as much. Many angels fought alongside us in the First Crusade. Heaven was unable to mobilize its full might to aid us, but individual Celestials volunteered to fight for our cause. Then one day, they all vanished, saying that they were setting off on an important mission. Not long after, Iomede's herald erected the first wardstone in Kenabres, and then the others in cities across Mendev. Even back then, I had nagging doubts, but my faith in Iomede easily assuaged them. It is for us to serve the goddess after all, not to question her works. Nevertheless, I am pleased that you solved the mystery of the wardstone in Kenabres, and were able to save this gift of Iomede. It was a deed worthy of a knight commander of the Fifth Crusade.
I know. The Queen subtly inclines her head in solemn acknowledgement of your service. I'm not going to tell... Oh, hang on, no, this is not that. I was thinking it's the Covenant of the Inheritance. I'm keeping that for myself. You should know I received an unusual gift in the caves beneath Kenabres. In a vision I saw the death of an angel called Lariel. Somehow he was able to grant me the ability to reveal the light of heaven.
Lariel. I knew him. He disappeared shortly before the world wound grew, and Dresden fell into the enemy's hands. In the chaos, we had more important concerns than investigating the fate of a single angel. Even one so righteous and beloved as Lariel. And afterward, matters took a turn for the worse. The angels left us to go on their special mission. It is so strange to hear the names I used to hear when I was young, like getting a message from the past. It is sad news, but it brings me back to the times when we strongly believed in our victory, and we rushed headlong toward it without fear. Could it be that such times have come again?
Perhaps. And what are you going to do?
Overlooking a spot of insubordination just at the moment. However, I shall answer you. I shall prepare the defenses at Nerosian and all the other border cities and plan the future of the Fifth Crusade. Does that satisfy your curiosity, Knight Commander?
No, I think you should stay with us. Present campaign is the hope of the Crusade, and the blessing of Iomede that you carry might be decisive in the battle. I mean, plus people should be seeing you out there, shouldn't they?
Here, a polite attempt to appeal to the conscience of an old sovereign?
No, just telling you what you should be doing.
I don't know if you realize what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
If our enemies in the depths of the wound were to discover that I was with your army, they would immediately send their most vicious demons to attack.
Yeah.
They would stop at nothing to be rid of me, and thereby sow chaos across Mendev.
Yeah. What good are you doing if you're not here?
But you are right. I shouldn't be sitting it out in the rear. I am a warrior queen, and a queen of warriors. Yet my fighters have forgotten what I look like. Fine. I shall join the crusade, but on my own terms.
Good.
First, I shall assemble my entourage and lead the parade out of the camp. I shall catch up with you later, along with a few hand-picked bodyguards. We'll change our armor, and I'll become a knight of a minor order and join the troops incognito.
Okay.
Until we approach Dresden, no one should know I am among you. But before we storm the city, I shall show myself to the troops and join the battle. Let it be a surprise for the demons.
That works.
I hope you won't complain of my company on the road, Commander, since you were the one who insisted upon it. Do you have any other questions?
Nah, looks that's clear.
Splendid. Ah, yes. We have one final matter to attend to. It should be rather enjoyable. Count, there you are. You received my instruction?
I did, though I did not have time to read the thing before I was dragged before your majesty. In truth, I was readying myself to depart.
No matter. I trust you will forgive your sovereign for the rather brusque summons, especially when you learn what prompted it. As you are aware, she has recently been appointed my Knight Commander of the Fifth Crusade. I spent a long while pondering whom to appoint to the highly sensitive post of Commander's Field Attaché and Advisor Plenipotentiary without portfolio. Congratulations, Count.
I think saying you're staying here, Count.
It is a great honor, I suppose.
What a wonderful gesture, Your Majesty, and a fun trick. I imagine Eddie Count would have been inconsolable if you hadn't given him his chance to serve our common cause.
I knew you would approve, Commander.
The Queen bestows a smile on you, then brings a gaze to rest upon Darren once more.
I had my doubts about whether you were ready for such a responsibility, Count, but your conduct in Kenabres has put my mind at ease. So, you will travel with the troops to Dresden. Only the Commander may remove you from your post, but I trust that you will dutifully fulfill her orders and make a good showing of yourself. Especially since word of your appointment, Count, will reach the court at any moment. All of Mendev's nobility
you're
will
not as stuffy as I
your
thought.
successes in service to the nation, including all of your devoted admirers. I even heard that one bard with whom you are particularly friendly has already begun composing a ballad to honor your heroic participation in the Crusade and your faithful service to the Commander here.
Your largesse truly knows no bounds, dear cousin.
Isn't it?
I am most gratified by the honor you have shown me.
Do you want her helmet to piss in?
Then let's get going. May Ayomide help us.
You know, like you did that night she loved. Oh, alright, Anivia. What's your beans? Anivia sweeps an inquisitive glance over you. So tell me straight, how'd that brawl at the Grey Garrison end? I heard rumours of the course. That's kind of my job, you know, to listen. You've got no idea what the cobblers, the Crusaders, are saying about you. Some say that Ayomide came to you and appointed you a herald. Others say that you died and an honest-to-God's angel is now leading the army disguised as you. Still others say it was an explosion at an alchemist lab and I'm the one spreading rumours about your powers. I wish. But you know, you really have changed since the Grey Garrison. It's hard to describe. You've become kinda... Anivia waves a hand, trying to find the word. More dangerous? Yeah, exactly. More dangerous. I have a good instinct about these things. If I didn't, I'd already be dead. You're dangerous, Commander. And by Desna, I hope you'll be dangerous to our enemies and not to us. Or to yourself. I gotta go, Anivia. Alright, catch you. We've got stuff in here we can sell as well. Look at that. All kinds of junk.
Uh-huh.
Missed that bag before. Nice. Oh, there's Leotra. What do you want? Commander? A tall man with piercing yellow-green eyes gives you a brief nod. Let me personally congratulate you on your new title, and thank you for your time in advance. I am Leotra Hawkblade, an Inquisitor of the Church of Ayomide, the Bringer of Light. I require your assistance in a certain delicate matter involving one of your companions, young Count Darren Arenday. What brings you here, anyway? I ask you to assist the Church of Ayomide in an investigation of the utmost importance. I understand that the leader of the Crusade has plenty of other matters to attend to, but please allow me to tell you the details. Perhaps it will explain why I'm calling upon you. The Inquisitor's open face instantly revealed his feelings. He frowns and looks through you, lost in his thoughts for a moment. I suppose that you've already heard about Count Arenday's story. I refer to the tragedy at the Heaven's Edge estate. Kind of. Tell me about it. About 10 years ago, several powerful demons managed to penetrate the Wardstone barrier and commit mass murder on all the guests who attended the feast in celebration of young Darren's birthday. The unknown magical disease they brought wiped out the whole estate in less than a day. That was not a unique case in itself. The demons had attempted such raids on Mendevian lands before, but they never dared target such a well-protected place. The Arenday family was exceptionally rich. The estate was protected by elite bodyguards, and there were several strong and righteous paladins among the guests. Moreover, the revered Nestorin, Darren's tutor, was one of the most powerful priests of Ayomide in the vicinity. All of them died, nonetheless, except for the young count, who had suddenly manifested his outstanding sacred healing powers. Was that a divine miracle or a curse? That remains to be seen. You're going to investigate this old case again, aren't you? Yes, I am. I have several reasons to doubt the widely shared accounts of what happened exactly at the estate and how it happened. You see, Commander, I was among those sent to examine the estate after the incident. I saw everything with my own eyes, and I still remember it clearly, even though it feels like it happened a lifetime ago. Heaven's Edge was a unique place that still carried the spirit of old Mendev before the World Wound. Yet on that day it turned into a labyrinthine house of horrors, like something only seen in our nightmares. Apologies for the digression. I want to tell you about my suspicions. Everything about the incident seemed odd. Why was the only person left alive a young boy with a newfound talent for divine magic? Why did nobody send to Kenabres for help, even though the agony spanned many hours? We found the demons dead, with their heads cut off, and we got into the estate, and were they defeated. How did the disease kill even the paladins present at the estate, who are said to be immune to any disease? If the demons found a way to penetrate the Holy Warrior's defences, why has this never been repeated since the tragedy at Heaven's Edge? You are the only person who can help me here, Commander, because the only living witness to those events is currently serving in your army. Your army's route will take you near the very site of tragedy. Heaven's Edge has been abandoned and sealed with potent magic throughout all these years, and only the Count has the power to break that seal. He is unlikely to invite an Inquisitor inside, and in any case he won't like me sniffing around his family seat. But if you, as his commander, express your wish to visit the estate, he will be obliged to fulfill it, and I will simply follow you as one of your attendants. There are 100 ways, 1,000 paths, and a myriad loopholes in human lives where the force of evil can use to their advantages. I am not sure which one of those led the demons to the gates of Heaven's Edge, but I do know it wasn't a simple raid. The kind Crusaders face every day. That incident involved a significantly more powerful entity, and that is why I'm asking for your help. We cannot be sure that such tragedy will not happen again, until we uncover the truth. You've already been to the estate several times. What do you expect to find now? I was a young and inexperienced Inquisitor when I first visited Heaven's Edge 10 years ago. My skills have improved significantly since then, and I have paid dearly for that. Leota makes a vague gesture pointing at his scars. My arsenal includes many spells and techniques dedicated to gathering information about people and events. Almost all of them require me to be physically present in the place where the event in question happened. That is why I must return to Heaven's Edge. Why can't you just go yourself without involving me? The estate is abandoned and oh, well, you already told me that. Fair enough. Did you speak to Darren himself? I did. But the Count insisted he couldn't remember anything about the incident due to severe shock. He saw the demons at the very beginning when they appeared at the celebration to announce the onset of the plague and mock their victims. He also witnessed the death of his mother, Countess Selena. That was all he would tell me. Leota pauses. We had found the young Count sleeping like a log on the floor in one of the rear chambers, having drunk about half the family's wine cellar all by himself. But there's no reason to disbelieve him on the matter. So you suspect Darren is hiding something? That he is to blame for the tragedy? I deliberately refuse to entertain any theories or suspicions, so that it doesn't affect the investigation. There is a saying among my colleagues that suspicion is the mother of prejudice, and prejudice is married to failure. I can only tell you that Count Arendelle wasn't suffering from demonic possession, the most common malaise in our country at the time. Prelate Huldron himself, oh that idiot, examined the boy right after the tragedy, and he didn't sense anything awry about him. Fine, I'll help you. What do you need me to do? Leota bows his head, with exceptional reverence. Thank you, Commander. Now I ask you to speak to the Count and tell him that you wish to see Heaven's Edge. Please do not inform him of my presence right away. I will join your escort when it's time to travel to the estate. When we get there, I will also require your help during the investigation. You'll have to follow me observing my actions as an independent witness. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me. I will remain here for a while. I'm not interested in you. There's some interesting things to find out there, but... And, yeah, Huldron is an idiot. I will ask about that. Are you one of Prelate Huldron's followers? The otter face freezes for a moment, but he nods. Yes, of course. What is your opinion on these atrocities? The otter is silent for a while. Usually people reveal such things about themselves only by their only to their confessor, not some curious stranger. Still, I did ask for your help, and that imposes certain obligations on me. Let me put it like this. I spent enough years by Prelate Holron's side to learn how to keep him from going over the line. The Prelate is an extraordinary man. He has fallen prey to his own paranoia and monumental sense of responsibility, which has gradually eroded his razor-sharp mind. He has witnessed so much hideous darkness that he now sees it in every shadow. Yet his strength was and still is a shield for all the people of Mendeb. It's not for those he's killing, is it? That is my opinion. His comrades and advisors are necessary to prevent him from making unforgivable mistakes. Yeah, well, you weren't there when he was making them. So where were you during the attack on Kenabres? I was on the hunt, a very successful one, but as often happens in life, this minor success was a mere harbinger of a larger failure. If I hadn't been so far away from Kenabres on the day of the attack, I may have been able to help my comrades prevent a number of deaths. Alright, well, thank you for your answer. It's not an easy topic for me. I prefer not to discuss this again. I have to go. Now... I do have 32. Not sure I dare do more. I think I have to though. Let's have a look in the tent. Yep, that's fine. A recipe. Where is it? Probably down at the bottom. Nope. There it is. These are just... oh, hang on, there's something there. Yeah, those are just... like altars and stuff. Let's have a word with Darren first. There you are. I'd love to visit Heaven's Edge and see the Arendelle estate someday. Oh, I was just about to mention it myself. I've been thinking. Now that I'm in the middle of this whole Crusade nonsense, I simply must devise new ways to have fun. With all the recent commotion, my birthday completely slipped my mind. What if we were to celebrate it at Heaven's Edge? It's not far from here, and you'll enjoy a banquet in a bona fide haunted house. Darren seems to have trouble getting the words out, which clearly indicates how rarely he has to ask for anything. Since you're my superior and I'm your advisor, I am obliged to ask your permission to leave for the festivities, and I want to invite you too. I'm sure the commander can free up an afternoon while the soldiers are on leave. Yep, sure, deal. Perfect, you'll have a ball. I'll make sure of it. Something strange flickers in Darren's smile. So how do you like your new role, advisor? Darren winces. You also like poking me with that stick, don't you? Imagine it, me, a crusader. If my dearest cousin hoped to teach me a lesson, she managed it perfectly. An assignment I couldn't avoid without losing face. That idiotic journey leading straight into the demon's maws. I could have been on a pleasure boat right now with the lovely songstress in Pitex in my arms, and a bottle of Fernis Keonin wine to keep me company. Did you receive a fraction of that unusual power? Looks like it. I genuinely hoped that getting away from you would be the end of it. If your gift truly did come from Iomade, then giving me a smidgen of that power was a very subtle joke on her part. I had no idea that our divine Lightbringer of Mendeb even had a sense of humour. Don't get me started on my many acts of sacrilege against her. That obscene engraving, the truth about the test of the Starstone, is the tamest one by far. Alright, I'm gonna go. Okay, Soziel.
Hello again. I'm very pleased to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
A young cleric stands before an easel, his brush hovering over the canvas, without touching it. Instead of pointing, the young man absent-mindedly gazes at the sky of Kenabres, which is still streaked with towering plumes of black smoke, before he notices you and smiles, shaking off his stupor.
It's a pity I wasn't there at the Grey Garrison to witness your feats of strength with my own eyes. The flash, however, could be seen miles and miles away. Some people were frightened of it, thinking that the demons had blown up the remains of the keep. I, for one, knew immediately that it was a good sign. The light above the city showed us that there was still hope.
Who are you anyway, and how could you possibly be of use to my army?
My name is Soziel Vainik. I am a cleric of Shaylin, the Eternal Rose and the Goddess of Beauty. Yes, I know that many people would consider me useless in a war. This is not a usual war, though. Just consider our enemy. The Abyss and his demons are the very embodiment of everything evil and ugly in the world. Perhaps a disciple of kindness and beauty might come in handy.
Not convinced by that argument, but okay.
I have no doubt that we will win this war, Commander. We just have to. It is our destiny. My role is to help you, and all those standing by your side in this struggle, to survive and flourish. Everyone deserves the chance to find peace and happiness in the world that they are defending so selflessly.
What are you painting? The cleric's eyes linger mournfully on the canvas. The unfinished painting depicts a temple crowned with a rainbow-tailed bird, symbol of Shaylin. 5 people dressed in robes stand before the temple, men and women, young and old. They all gaze back at you with radiant happiness and joy in their serene eyes.
My brothers and sisters in faith. They sent me for help, and then they saved my life, Commander. If the Prioress hadn't ordered me to escape the city and seek help, I would have died right along with them. Instead, I met Queen Galfrey on my way to Nerosian, and hurriedly returned to Kenabres, only to find my friends dead on the steps of our desecrated temple.
That must have been miserable for you.
I want to draw them the way they live on in my memory. Wise, beautiful, and loyal to their goddess and their city to the very end.
Yeah, well, that's why you have to treasure every moment you spend with the ones you love. Today you're together, but who knows what tomorrow may bring.
You're right. I took their company for granted and never even imagined that they might just disappear in the blink of an eye. So many words left unspoken.
Soziel sighs heavily.
Now it's my duty to make sure my friends and tutors did not die in vain. I will honor their sacrifice by making this world a bit more beautiful and kind.
The hell made an artist enlist in the army anyway?
Perhaps I am a true artist, or simply an amateur who defaces canvases in my spare time. My goddess is a patron of art, so painting is part of my prayer, and I put all my heart into my pieces. But I am a cleric above all else, so I must also tend to others.
Well, there are plenty you could tend to.
I went to war because here's where I'm most needed. Sure, I could be painting idyllic landscapes and offering empty prayers to my goddess, but that won't stop people from dying. My goddess has no tolerance for false piety.
Fair enough. You wanted to discuss something with me, right?
Yes, I have a personal request. Before we undertake our journey and leave Kenabres behind, I would like to visit Martyr Zacharias' cemetery for a funeral. It's not far from here, and it's important. I would like to pay my respects to my friends from the Temple of Shaylin who died defending the city. Also, if it's not too much trouble, I would like you to come with me to honor their memory. Their friends and family will be at the funeral, and perhaps the commander's personal presence will bring them comfort.
I can do that.
I know that you are burdened by many cares right now, so I understand if you can't find the time. But if you could, I would be sincerely grateful.
It's nice to meet you. I've got to go.
You must be rather busy indeed. Leading a crusade all by yourself is no joke. I still believe that you are up to the task. This war has been raging for 100 years, but you've given us a chance at victory.
All right.
This is my time to shine.
Oh, we've got another. Whoop. What did I do? Not what I intended, so that's for sure. I went into my own tent. Oh dear. So I'll get you back to the tent. Ah, interesting. I didn't know that. A stout old man. Yeah, we've spoken to him. How'd you end up on the battlefield? Everyone here has a story like that, but mine is rather a boring one. Okay, well I don't need to listen to it then, do I? And you've told me all about everything is there, so I don't need to worry about you. Fawn Autumn Haze. Congratulations on your new rank, Commander. My hunt demanded that I travel with your army. Naturally, I wouldn't burden your force with the need to care for an outsider. I provided myself with all the necessities. I met Kay Lesser. Fawn's melancholic expression remains calm, but his entire body tenses, and his fingers wrap around the handle of his weapon. Under what circumstances? I hope you seize the opportunity to kill her. Are you certain of your allegations? Fawn lowers his head and says in a hollow voice, I am. Her misdeeds are terrible and proven with absolute certainty. And she claims she doesn't serve demons. Of course she does. In an attempt to buy her life, she would stoop to the boldest, most egregious of lies. Whose word do you trust, hers or mine? Well, I'll let her go. After giving you a sudden look, Fawn stares off into the distance. The decision is regrettable. I'm afraid that in doing so, you've condemned her many future victims to death. I suppose it just means that bringing this hunt to a close falls on my shoulders. Yeah, I don't think you're right about her, to be honest. I have to go. Right. There's a tent over here. Oh, hang on, there's stuff over here as well. Oh, Grandma Gretlin! You lot! A well-dressed old dwarf who's lecturing a motley company, shaking her ladle at them belligerently. Noticing you, she flings up her hands. Good afternoon, your commanderness. Do you remember us? We're the crew from the next-door theatre company. The one you saved in Kenabres, back when you weren't your commanderness yet. As you can see, we're on the commander campaign with you. We signed up to clean pots and mend the soldiers' clothes. Keeping up a theatre is expensive, so we all have to take side jobs. But we don't want to stop what we're doing. We're going to put on a play about your legendary feats. What about my legendary hands too? Of course, the crowd scenes are difficult. We can't find the people to play the hordes of demons, and we decide against using a ritual to summon real demons. Luckily, we have Master Kem. He's invented a way to solve this problem using sound. We caught a pig and some piglets who ran away from a burned-out village. The glum and husky half-orc mumbles softly. We put the pigs in a box and scare them a little, and the sound they make is just like an approaching demon horde. But the most important question is, of course, choosing the lead act, who will play the great Knight Commander. We had a right Barney over it, breaking a number of lancers as well as a shovel, a rolling pin, and a set of back scratchers. But we just couldn't decide no matter what. Maybe you can help us. We have two candidates that are most suited to the role. One will have the honour of conveying your heroism upon the stage, Commander. Oh, yeah? So, we've got a Cyclops actor or a gnome. I'm to be played by a gnome? Not a gnome, two gnomes, Rumbledum and Harifant, are twins. One of them sits on the other's shoulder and puts on a long coat, so they can play tall characters. They switch places every so often, so each gets a moment of fame. And that way, they each only have to learn half the script. And a Cyclops actor? He's completely tame, believe me. Has a few issues with articulation, but what a powerful physique. We'll make him a nice costume, wash him up, brush his hair. Truth be told, in our show, you mainly just make heroic exclamations at a fateful moment, like onward or we'll never give up. My heart burns with courage. Lambkin could oh, this is the famous Lambkin. Oh, well then, yeah, I've made my decision. It's got to be Lambkin. I'll be played by Lambkin the Cyclops. Wonderful. Sorry we took you away from all the important things heroes and commanders do. We're off to rehearsal. I mean, first we'll wash some pots, then we're off to a rehearsal. Let's go, you lazy lumps. Don't embarrass old Grandma now. Right, let's get back here. Actually, it's just here, isn't it? Finding... Oh, there's another. Finding books scattered around is one thing, but this looks suspicious. A discarded sheet of paper. What is it? May Kenabres be damned. I can sell it as well. Anonymous pamphlet. I spit on the streets of Kenabres. I spit on the granite walls and its stained glass windows. If tomorrow the ground trembles, splits apart and devours the cursed city, I will not shed one tear. No one here, not a single soul, deserves my compassion. Everyone who lives in the city is a criminal. If there were any justice in the world, every one of them would be hanging from the gallows. Prelate Holron and Queen Galfrey chief among them. Ask anyone on the streets what they know of mongrels. The answer will be dumb silence or the lowered eyes of a scoundrel who knows their crimes but doesn't want to think about it. Mongrels. A disgusting nickname which the residents of the city have given to the brave Crusader heroes who defeated the forces of evil, but paid for it with their health. Covered with scabs and tumours, bloated and gnarled, they were no longer beautiful enough to be tolerated by the very people they saved. As a reward for their heroism, the city dwellers exiled them to the sewers and damp caves beneath the city. The author of these words went down there and spoke with them. And I'll have you know the ugliest of them is more noble than all the paladins of Mendev. Not to mention that the head-chopping prelate and his murderous queen. And if any pretend that today's city dwellers aren't responsible for the crime of their grandfathers, then we'll spit in their face for the grandchildren of the exiled are still down there, crawling in the mud and eating garbage. And everyone knows that about this and does nothing. And everyone who should know but prefers blissful ignorance, I say they're all guilty, and they repeat the same crime every day. And as long as this doesn't change, any citizen who desires to fight the demons should take a knife and stab themselves in the stomach. For your city is already rotted, and you are no better than the demons. And if anyone would repent and right this terrible wrong, they should turn their weapons on the prudish paladins who preach good, but defend an order that flies in the face of justice. Down with the paladins, down with Prelate Holron, down with Queen Galfrey. Someone's got an axe to grind, don't they? Alright, over here. Well, we've spoken to High Lord before. I don't need to go speak to him again, I don't think. Nora's tent. Knight Commander, how can I help? There is so much I can do, just ask. Nora looks at you with eyes filled with enthusiasm. She's holding a notebook and a traveller's inkwell. You've probably heard about the wound I have, the one that sometimes opens on my chest. Can you perhaps tell me if it's some kind of demonic curse? Yes, indeed, I've been told about your affliction. Nora appears at the centre of your chest. Can you will the wound to open? No? Nah, that's a shame. What can you tell me about the wound? Well, it's difficult to say. I know of blades that leave never-healing cuts, of poisons that stop wounds from healing. I've heard of witches' curses that are rewarded with eternal wounds, but wounds that seem to reopen and heal over and over? Perhaps you know other cases like this? Let's think. In 4671, a Mendevian army corporal had all his bones and cartilage turned to glass. In 4700, a scribe in Kenabres had all her skin simply come away like she'd been boiled. And in 4638, oh, you don't happen to have insects crawling all over you? Locusts? No? Rats? Perhaps? Too bad. Nora looks at you with genuine regret. Do you think it's dangerous? It most likely is, but you are under the protection of Iopde, Commander. She granted you mythic powers, as they say. Surely the inheritor would not leave you to face this alone. Have you perhaps noticed that the wound opens in moments when you waver in your faith? Perhaps it was triggered by doubt. Frowning, Nora looks at you with sincere concern. Well, thank you for your answers. I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you anything useful. I'll be sure to study this matter and consult a few of my encyclopedias. Tell me the history of the world wound. Oh, I could talk about that for hours. What exactly do you want to know? Tell me about old Sarkoris. It was an unforgiving country, inhabited by many numerous tribes of Kelid barbarians. Imagine Numeria, but without the metal mountains, or the realm of mammoth lords, but with a milder climate. That's Sarkoris. The country was ruled by priests of forgotten deities and shamans. It's said that even back then, before the world wound, the boundary between worlds was especially thin in this region. Since ancient times, Discari has had his claws sunk deep into the minds of the locals. His cult thrived here for many centuries. Aradin tried to stamp them out, but in the end, of course, he passed away. How did the world wound come to be? It happened the year Aradin died, 4606, a little over a century ago. No one knows if the timing was coincidental, or if there was some connection with Aladin's death. But I'll tell you what we do know. The priests and shamans who ruled Sarkoris hated arcane magic, and all who practiced it, wizards and sorcerers, were driven from the land, or worse. One of their prisons held a witch named Arilu Vorlesh. We know nothing about her besides her name, and of course the atrocities she committed. By some unknown method, she managed to harness the terrible power of the demon lord Discari. Together they tore open the barrier between worlds, opening a rift to the abyss in the very middle of Sarkoris. The world wound slowly but mercilessly expanded, devouring more and more land. In a matter of years, Sarkoris was a memory. After a moment of silence, Nora adds softly, "Sometimes I think, what did they do to Arilu in that prison? Just imagine she was ready to give herself to the abyss, if only the demons might devour the torturers along with her. To imagine such hatred, it terrifies me." Tell me about the First Crusade. It began in 4622. Yes, it took the church and the secular authorities nearly 2 decades and hundreds of thousands of lives before they decided to take action. In the meantime, Sarkoris was only supported by a handful of volunteers. By the time the crusade began, the demons had already invaded Mendev. The Crusaders pushed them back in what must have seemed like total triumph at the time. The forces of good easily crushing the demons on all fronts. They erected Dresden on the lands they conquered, an indestructible fortress and the capital of the Crusader movement. In 4630, 8 years after it began, the First Crusade was declared victorious. It was a triumph of the Crusaders, and unfortunately the last. What about the Second Crusade? In 4638, the world wound suddenly started expanding, and a new wave of demons appeared. The Crusaders were all but delighted. Last time, they'd routed the forces of the Abyss, and they welcomed another chance to prove themselves. But this time, everything was different. Instead of a scattering of gangs, they faced a large and organised army. Dresden was besieged and the Crusaders lost all the lands they'd won back. They had to retreat and all that remained of Sarkoris was left to the demons. But while the monsters were devouring the unprotected lands, the Crusaders erected a chain of wardstones along the border with the world wound. We have Iomade and the Heralds thank for their help. It was the Second Crusade's only victory, but it halted the wound's growth. The catastrophe had become a stalemate at the cost of tremendous sacrifice. And the Third Crusade? About 50 years after the opening of the world wound, Discari found an ally. Baphomet entered the war, a cunning, insidious demon lord who prefers deception to open conquest. He set his enemies against each other and lures the virtuous onto the path of wickedness. Traitors appeared among the Crusaders, secret agents of his cult. For a time, no one suspected a thing, even as they watched helplessly as the Crusader movement fell to ruin. Where once valour proudly stood, now greed and dumb cruelty reigned, and outrage was drowned in apathy. In 4665, the church announced a new crusade, hoping to boost morale. They didn't succeed, to put it mildly. Some fought the demons in earnest, and for a time they even dared hope to retake Dresden. But the Third Crusade would be remembered as a witch hunt, in every sense. Inquisitors hoped to purge any cultists from the ranks of the fighters, but instead they got a barrage of denunciation, widespread suspicion and innocent victims. It sometimes happened that two orders would denounce each other as traitors and wipe each other out, much to the demons' delight. Just 3 years later, in 4668, the church put this disgrace to an end. Of all the crusades, that was the least glorious. So what about the Fourth Crusade? Of course, the demons had no intention of sitting quietly caged behind the wardstones. They kept attacking Kenabres, trying to reach the stone and destroy it, or just scratch its surface, or even if that wasn't possible, befoul it. The Crusaders drove the demons away from the city again and again. The Fourth Crusade was to last for 15 years, an exhausting study in positional warfare. The demons attacked and were pushed back. The Crusaders went on the offensive, but were forced to retreat, and all the while their losses were tremendous. The Fourth Crusade's only achievement was that they didn't let a single wardstone fall. They didn't retake a sliver of land, to say nothing of Dresden. So many lives just to maintain a stalemate. You can imagine how that affected morale. Well, thank you for your answers. My pleasure. You just have to remember to stop me or I'll go on about it forever. So what about yourself? Oh my, I could tell you so many amazing things. And you choose the most boring one of all. But alright, about myself then. Where are you from? Iska, a small piece of land that proudly calls itself a country, though it hasn't been independent for a single day in all the centuries it's existed. They have a lot of national pride, but all of it is borrowed. Always looking for a great day when they can last be free from the rule of Chileax. The Isgeri love talking politics. If two of them start bargaining over beets on the market, you can be sure that they'll end up arguing about whether an independent Isga will be a monarchy or a republic. I've always found it funny to listen to, and a little disgusting. You see, there are a lot of us halflings in the country, but very few are citizens. Most are slaves. I was lucky. I've always been clever, and ever since I was little. So they sent me to school instead of making me do their grunt work. They taught me to count and write. And I was sold as a secretary to Lord Alexander Tresbot. He's the one I left Isca with. Never to return, I hope. How did you come to serve Queen Galfrey? I was a slave to Lord Alexander Tresbot in Isca, my homeland. Oh, what a man he was. He towered over his fellows like a rock over a garbage heap. A true hero. He bought me as a simple secretary, but he made me learn the history of the world wound, and all of it, one volume after another. He hired tutors for me, even sent me to meet prominent historians. He didn't want a simple slave, but a slave with an impeccable education. Lord Tresbot was going on a crusade. He firmly believed that the servants of the good gods were weak, and only a follower of Asmodeus could stand against a demon invasion. He took me along as a secretary, a historian, and most importantly, he entrusted me with recording his glorious story for future generations. In his crusade, Lord Tresbot performed many brave feats, but even he could not stand against the world wound alone. In his final battle with the demons, when my lord realised he was doomed, his final act was to cover my retreat, so that I could tell the world of his great deeds. Some people have said that what I did was not heroic, just an arrogant moron, puffing himself up one last time. But I say curse their tongues. My difficult journey ended in Mendev, where I found freedom. There I published Lord Tresbot's biography, and I don't want to boast about it, but how am I kidding? Of course I do. The book sold in great numbers, and made me rather famous for a time. That's what brought me to the Queen's attention. She invited me to her court. After all, she was curious about what my deceased lord, and she was in great need of an expert on the history of the world wound. I hope you'll find me useful as well. So, you're not just a historian, but a writer too? Will you write a book about my crusade? Why not? As soon as we finish off the demons, I'll get right to it. Just take care that you don't end up like Lord Tresbot. Do you worship any deity? She makes a wry face. When I was a slave in Isga, they would beat me with a stick to force me into believing in Asmodeus. They hit me and said it was for my own good. Ever since then, I don't like temples. I realise there are different gods like Desna or Caden, who teach goodness and freedom, but that's just... As soon as I smell frankincense, I see the slave driver's stick. Maybe one day I'll be able to turn a deity without cringing from a blow for not being reverent enough. But for now I'll let others pray for me. Nora's smile trembles and collapses. Nora wants to add something, but decided to let the painful... we failed a perception check. I rolled a 1. I only needed a 3. Thank you for your answers. You're welcome, but you should ask me about something more interesting. I have to go. Can a mortal become a god? Alright.
So exciting!
Hello, the secret needle gun. Okay. Without a shadow of doubt, expecting nothing in return, the life and feats of Lord etc. Okay. Don't think there's anything else to be gained there. So we finished at the camp. Oh, hang on, no we haven't. Who's over here? Annabeth! Commander, allow me to say something. Annabeth looks even more serious than usual. Before you, this wasn't a war, it was agony drawn out over decades. No one believed in victory anymore. When the demons attacked the city, for some it was a relief. At least the end had come. They laid down their weapons and surrendered without a fight. I felt the same thing, but I somehow got through the stubbornness, and with a vague hope that if nobody found Onivia's body, she might by some miracle have survived. And that miracle was you. You returned my beloved to me, and I nearly lost all hope of ever seeing her alive again. Then you went on a suicide mission to the Grey Garrison and won the city back for us. You turned a defeat into a victory. I know it wasn't easy, but you make everything seem so effortless. You do everything just like that, she says with a snap of her fingers. The Queen believes in your powers too, but for me, they're just more proof of what I felt that day when I saw Anivia alive, standing next to you. You're the miracle we've been waiting for. You're the one who will finally put an end to this terrible war, and in spite of everything, deliver us victory we so desperately need. With you, I'm sure this crusade will achieve what the others have not. I found a scabbard with your family name on it in the Grey Garrison. Annabeth looks down. This scabbard held a solemn hour, my family's sword. My father once fought with it, and I took it when I left home to become a paladin. Alas, it was not stolen. I parted with my heirloom willingly to help someone dear to me. Anivia needed expensive healing, and having no other way to procure the money, I pawned my father's sword. I think he would have understood. I'm sure he would have given up everything to help the family. It's a good thing to do. I hoped to redeem the Solomon eventually, but there was never enough money, and soon the sword disappeared from the pawn shop altogether. I have no idea who took it. Seems like I'll just have to part with my father's sword forever. I can see that you truly love her. A delicate blush appears on Annabeth's cheek. She nods slightly. Annabeth lovingly traces the name imprinted in silver on the scabbard's leather. My parents were loyal servants, yet it wasn't enough to earn them a title or a coat of arms. Still, however humble our name might be, it is worth something. I don't know if I'll ever see the Solomon again, but at least I have its scabbard back. Thank you. So it turns out the Queen is the head of counterintelligence watching me. I wonder why. You think the Queen doesn't trust you? If that were true, she wouldn't have put you in charge of this army. My main task is to be your advisor, until you've gained enough experience as a commander. As for counterintelligence, Anivia and I were tasked with keeping an eye on your inner circle, but you're not under suspicion, Commander. You're under our protection. Yeah, sure. We need reinforcements. Can you get us more soldiers? Annabeth frowns. When we began the march on Dresden, we chose speed over numbers. If I order more volunteers to be recruited, they simply won't arrive in time. We could pay majors to deliver the troops to the camp. I doubt our army coffers could afford it. If you can spare 7,500, yeah, here it is, right there. Consider it done. It's hard to believe your origin is so humble. You deserve a noble title more than many who inherit them. Annabeth's cheeks blush a little. Thank you, Commander. It is an honour to hear that, especially from you. Every noble family begins somewhere. You must have heard the story from the stolen lands in the River Kingdoms. Just imagine coming from nowhere and making it all the way to the royal crown in just a few years. Sometimes I wonder what would happen if I managed to distinguish myself somehow, but then I push away such unworthy, selfish thoughts, of course. We don't fight for rewards. The fate of the world is at stake, and yet Kenabres' blush deepens and she falls silent. I understand. I have to go. Kenabres says goodbye with a short bow. That should be it. Let's head out and start this crusade. Oh, what's this? So you're the war chief now. You're going to lead us to free Sarkoris from those Fae? Albrecht nods his head with respect. I felt it the moment I saw you. This one is special. But that you'd go on get yourself a whole army in no time? That I didn't expect. Well, how does your newfound power feel? Has it gone to your head yet? We're going to fight demons, not Fae. Fae, demons, angels. Albrecht screws up his face and waves his hand in front of it, like he's trying to get rid of the foul smell. They're all the same spooks. They could have stayed in their magicy forests, happy as a pig in mud. But no, they had to poke their funny heads into the mortal world. Hold on. Don't change the subject, eh? What do you think about being a war chief? It's an odd feeling. So many people are counting on me. I can't let them down. Yes, it's a scary thing to be responsible for others, especially when you're not out picking mushrooms. You're taking them to war. Even if you win, some of them won't make it back home, and you're the one who has to bear the burden. Albrecht runs his hand over his beard and shakes his head in thought. But I know you'll do just fine. And not because we've seen you in battle, although you are worth a whole band of warriors in a fight. I know you'll make a fine war chief, because you're not thinking about power or honours. You're concerned about the people in charge. As long as you hold on to that, you have nothing to fear. Well, I didn't come here just to flap my gums. Since I'm going to war and you're in charge, I better do this the right way. Albrecht lowers his head and says solemnly, My blade and my life are yours, war chief. I mean, it's not like I need a blade. My talons and beak will do the trick. But saying it like that is a dumb thing. My talons and beak are yours, just doesn't have the same ring to it. Actually, it's got a better ring to it, to my ears, Albrecht. There's something else. I can already see things are bad, but the tales of all Sarkoris burning down and its people dying out, I'm sorry, I don't believe those. It can't be true. We're not the kind of folks to be snuffed out just like that. I have kin in a village not far from here. Current Glen. Let's go there and talk to them. Have them fill us in. They're smart folks. Perhaps they'll help us in battle too. Together we'll clean up Sarkoris before you can say, alright, you foul creatures. Albrecht bumps his fist into his palm with a chuckle of bravado. Alright, I'll go prepare for the road ahead. Take care, War Chief. We've found Current Glen. We'll go there with you. Yeah, I might convince you. Okay. I have to have him, so I'll drop Ember for now. And we're going to be ending shortly, but I want to level him up first. First thing I want from you... Where is it? Impossible domain, animal. So I want you to get an animal companion. And I'm going to give you... Since you're into beauty and everything... I think we'll give you a cheetah. Is that what we've got? We've got a leopard. Or a smilodon. Let's go for a leopard. don't think I'm going to give it armor. Dodge, maybe. That might be good. Monarch, just like a butterfly. Just select one. Random one. There you go. Right. Now we have a second Crusader army here. Let's join them up. And we need a general. Talk like them. You've got massive maneuver, but we do get new ones each time I look, so you're possible. You're a mage. Let's try another. You've got Scorching Ray. None of those are appealing. You're a mage. You've got Scorching Ray. You've got Massive Maneuver, which lets you have an extra troop set. Let's take you. And you are Setsuna Sky. Shy. Who's Shy Guys? Ah. Take them out, Setsuna. They don't have a lot, do they? They've got some fighters and some cultists. We've got a lot less cultists now. Head on. Having defeated a band of cultists who had driven the captives from Kenabres and made ruins of Valus Gift their temporary base, and the commander's army celebrates its first triumph. Unfortunately, the demon worshippers have killed all the citizens and gathered their belongings into a huge pile in the middle of the camp. And given the time, I normally run to 2 hours, it's 1:55. I think that's where we're going to end today. Next time we'll pick up with Martyr Zacharias Cemetery, and maybe the Houndheart Camp as well. I'll see you then.